The stars were quiet, but something was coming. In the dark space near the edge of the galaxy, a giant group of alien ships floated. They belonged to many alien races. These races did not always get along, but now they had one goal. They wanted to remove humans from the stars. They believed humans were weak and nearly gone. One last message from Earth told them a single ship had left the planet. The aliens laughed. One ship? That was no threat. The human ship was called the Sentinel. It moved through the stars alone. Inside the ship, Commander Neil Carter sat in the main chair. He looked calm, but his eyes were sharp. He watched every signal on the screen. With him were Lauren Price, who watched enemy movement, and Eric Shaw, who worked deep in the ship's systems. The three of them were ready. This was not a mission. It was their duty. The aliens did not wait long. A group of scout ships moved forward to check the human ship. They opened fire without warning. Bright blasts moved toward the Sentinel. Neil spoke one word, and the ship moved. It twisted through space faster than the aliens expected. Lauren sent new data to the weapons. Eric gave more power to the engines. The Sentinel spun, dodged, and then struck back. In less than a minute, the alien scouts were gone. Only one ship escaped. It raced back to the main fleet. The alien leaders watched the replay. They did not understand how the human ship moved so fast or hit so hard. Something was wrong. This was not a normal ship. One alien general ordered a full scan. Another wanted to wait. But more and more ships started to move. Neil sat back in his chair. He looked at Lauren and Eric. They had survived the first attack. He knew many more would come. He remembered the last day on Earth. People were scared. Cities were quiet. Families said goodbye. The Sentinel was Earth's final hope. If this ship failed, there would be no one left to fight. The stars outside were full of danger, but the Sentinel kept going. It did not stop, and it did not turn back. The alien fleet was no longer calm. The news of the lost scout wing spread fast. They had thought the human ship was weak, maybe broken, but now they knew it was something different. Some alien leaders wanted to attack at once. Others wanted to wait and watch. The human ship, the Sentinel, had destroyed the scouts with speed and power no one had seen before. On the Sentinel, Neil watched the star map. Red dots showed where the alien ships were moving. They were getting closer. Lauren ran a check on their flight path. She noticed a group of enemy ships trying to trap them. She told Neil. He nodded. They would not run. They would break through. Eric worked in the lower deck. He checked the energy core again and again. The ship had power, but the system was not stable. It used old human tech mixed with alien parts. It was strong, but not perfect. One mistake could destroy them all. Still, Eric kept the power flowing. He knew the ship had to survive. The alien ships moved into place. They thought they had the human ship surrounded. They sent a warning message. Neil did not reply. Instead, he gave a simple order. The Sentinel jumped forward. The engines roared. Lights flashed across the control panels. The ship shot between the enemy ships and fired. Lasers and blasts lit up space. The Sentinel moved like a ghost, hard to see and harder to hit. Lauren called out targets. Eric pushed the engines even harder. The human ship hit fast and hard, then turned and hit again. 3 alien ships exploded. 2 more spun out of control. The alien fleet was shocked. They had never seen a ship like this. Some pulled back. Others tried to chase, but they were too slow. The Sentinel escaped the trap and kept moving. Inside the ship, the crew was quiet. They were tired, but still focused. Neil looked ahead. More ships were waiting. This was just the start. But they had made a mark. The aliens now knew the truth. One ship could fight back. Neil stood up and said, "They thought we were finished. Let them come. We will show them what humans can do." The Sentinel moved forward alone but unafraid. The ship flew through the dark space. Inside the Sentinel, the lights were low and quiet. Neil walked through the hall, thinking about the past. He remembered how the world had changed. Earth had been full of war and fear. Then, all nations stopped, fighting each other. They had one enemy now and they worked together. The Sentinel was the result of that hope. Built in secret under the ice in Antarctica, it took years to finish. It was made from the best parts of human science and stolen alien tech. It had weapons, shields, and engines no other ship had. But it was also unstable. If one part failed, the whole ship could fall apart. Eric sat near the core. He listened to the hum of the energy system. It was strong, but he saw signs of wear. He made small fixes and checked the readings again. Every number mattered. If the core broke, there would be no second chance. Lauren looked at old maps of alien space. She was trying to find a weak spot. Somewhere the Sentinel could move fast and strike hard. She found a place. A supply path that the alien fleet used. If they could cut it, the aliens would slow down. She told Neil. He agreed. The crew knew they could not win with power alone. They had to be smart. Each move had to count. One mistake could be the end. But they also knew something else. If they did nothing, Earth would be lost. Neil sat in his chair again. He looked at a small photo taped to the screen. It was his daughter. She had given him the photo before he left. He remembered her hug and her words. Come back safe. He had promised, and he meant it. The ship turned toward the new target. The supply route was not well guarded. If they moved fast, they could strike before the aliens noticed. Eric checked the power. Lauren set the course. Neil gave the order. The Sentinel moved like a shadow. It slipped past the edge of the fleet. It reached the supply ships and opened fire. Crates, fuel tanks, and carriers blew up in seconds. The aliens started to panic. Their supplies were gone. Their ships would slow down. And the one human ship had done it all. The fight was far from over. But the Sentinel had just changed the war. The alien fleet was angry. Their supply ships had been destroyed. Food, fuel, and weapons were lost. They now knew the human ship was not just lucky. It was skilled, fast, and smart. The alien leaders called for a full attack. They wanted to crush the Sentinel once and for all. More ships were sent out. Hundreds of them moved to block every path. The alien commanders thought they had planned well. They believed no ship could pass this wall. But they still did not understand the Sentinel. Inside the ship, Neil looked at the new map. They were surrounded. Lauren studied the enemy positions. She found a pattern. The ships were strong in the middle, but weak at the edges. Neil nodded. That was their way out. Eric checked the energy core again. It was hot and unstable, but it still worked. He had added new controls to stop it from overloading. He knew this next move would use everything they had. The ship could not fail now. The plan was simple. Hit the weak edge fast and break through. The Sentinel moved close to the edge of the alien wall. The enemy ships saw it and rushed forward. They fired everything they had. The sky lit up with red and blue fire. But the Sentinel was ready. It turned and spun through the blasts. Lauren gave new targets. Eric pushed more power into the engines. The ship became a blur. Then it fired. The first enemy ship exploded. Then another. The aliens tried to close the gap, but it was too late. The Sentinel flew through. It had taken damage. Sparks flew inside. One panel burst into flames. Eric put it out with his jacket. But the ship was still flying. They were free again. Behind them, the alien wall was broken. Some ships were lost. Others were turning back. The aliens had failed to stop the human ship once again. Neil took a deep breath. His hands were shaking, but his voice was calm. He thanked Lauren and Eric. He knew they had just passed their hardest test so far. The Sentinel kept moving. It was damaged but not done. Earth still needed them. The war was still going, but now the galaxy was watching, and the name of the Sentinel was starting to spread. The Sentinel floated near a quiet moon. The crew worked in silence. The ship was damaged. Parts of the wall were cracked. Smoke still came from the lower deck. But they had made it out again. They had survived every trap. Neil sat in the command chair. He was tired, but his eyes stayed sharp. He looked at the screen. A message had arrived. It came from Earth. The voice was full of fear. More alien ships were heading toward Earth. Big ones. The kind that destroy planets. Earth had no more defense. The Sentinel was the last hope. Lauren walked in with fresh scans. The alien fleet was 3 days away from Earth. If they moved fast, they could meet them in space before they got close. Neil nodded. There was no time to wait. Eric made more repairs. He worked fast. The engines needed more power. The weapons needed focus. He did not rest. He knew this was the final fight. The ship turned toward Earth. It jumped through space, moving as fast as it could. On the second day, they saw the enemy. Huge ships blocked the stars. The alien fleet was bigger than before, but the Sentinel did not stop. Neil gave orders. Lauren locked targets. Eric powered the core. The ship flew straight. At the center of the fleet, the aliens opened fire. The sky filled with light. The Sentinel shook. Wires broke. Panels fell. But the ship kept going. They fired everything they had. The first alien ship fell. Then another. The Sentinel moved like a storm. It dodged, turned, and struck. Lauren found the command ship. Neil aimed. Eric gave full power. The final shot hit the alien leader's ship. It broke apart in silence. The rest of the fleet paused. Then they turned and ran. The stars went quiet. The Sentinel had done it. Earth was safe. Inside, the crew sat in silence. They had won, but they were tired. The ship was broken, but still alive. Neil looked at the photo of his daughter. He smiled. Lauren turned to Neil. "What now?" she asked. Neil stood. "Now we go home." The Sentinel turned, slowly, and began its trip back to Earth. The war was not over, but today humanity had won.